BTS's Jimin is finally honest with Jungkook. I don't want him to be disappointed in me. Crying face, broken heart, an emotional moment shook ARMY hearts around the world when BTS's Jimin finally spoke the honest words he had kept tight in his heart. In an exclusive interview aired on the global platform, Jimin spilled his feelings about someone who meant so much to him, and without needing to be named, everyone knew that Jungkook was referring to him. The atmosphere suddenly became quiet as Jimin said in a trembling voice, "I just don't want her to be disappointed in me." That simple phrase instantly broke the silence and caused an incredible surge of emotions. Jimin, who had been known for his warmth, gentleness, and perfectionism, looked so fragile that night. His eyes were dreamy, as if playing back memories of his years with Jungkook, from the long days in the cramped rehearsal room of his trainee days to the moment they stood together on the world stage. She continued in an almost whispered voice, "He always believed in me. And I want to continue to be someone who deserves that trust." For ARMY, the sentence was more than an emotional confession. It was a clear proof of how deep the relationship between these two youngest members of BTS is. Over the years, Jimin and Jungkook have become such a strong symbol of familiarity, hard work, and mutual support in the eyes of the public. But this time, Jimin's feelings felt more personal, not just as a group mate, but as someone who was emotionally very attached. The public reaction was unstoppable. The hashtag Jimin Confession immediately occupied the top trending position on X, Twitter, in a matter of minutes. Thousands of fans wrote messages of support. Some even admitted to crying when they heard Jimin's sentence. "He should not be afraid to disappoint anyone. We know he always gives everything," wrote a fan from Korea. "It sounded like an unspoken love speech," added an ARMY officer from Brazil. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Jungkook is known to be on the set of an international project. However, a few hours after Jimin's statement went viral, Jungkook suddenly uploaded a message on the Weverse platform that made the atmosphere even more moving. The message contained only 3 short sentences. "I have never been disappointed in you. I always knew who you were. Don't be too hard on yourself." No need for a signature, no need for an emoji. But for ARMY, it's enough to confirm that Jungkook knows exactly what Jimin is feeling. After the upload appeared, the virtual world seemed to stop for a moment. Thousands of comments flooded the post in a matter of minutes. Many admitted that they could not hold back tears because the relationship between the two felt so sincere. "They always protect each other, even without having to meet in person," wrote one of the comments that received thousands of likes. The next day, a production staff member who was present at Jimin's interview gave a little leak about the atmosphere behind the scenes. According to him, before the interview began, Jimin seemed to sit quietly for a few minutes, looking at BTS's photos on his cell phone. He smiled a little, then took a deep breath and said, "I'll be honest tonight," the staffer said. That sentence now feels so meaningful, as if Jimin has prepared himself to open the part of his heart that he has been guarding carefully. The relationship between Jimin and Jungkook has long been in the spotlight, not only because of their on-screen closeness, but because of how the two always seem to understand each other without saying much. When Jungkook faces difficult times in his solo career, Jimin is always the first to provide support. And when Jimin released his solo project Face, Jungkook also proudly called it a work that is very honest and portrays who Jimin really is. Now, after the emotional confession, fans feel that the relationship between the two has reached a more mature point. It's no longer about the funny moments on stage or the adorable interactions behind the scenes, but rather about the trust and mutual respect that grew out of their long journey together. In a short clip released by HYB the day after, Jimin is seen in a rehearsal room, sitting in a corner with earphones in his ears, playing the song Still With You, Jungkook's solo song full of meaning. The camera captured his gentle expression as he stared at the floor, then smiled faintly. No words were spoken, but the expression spoke volumes. Gratitude, warmth, and maybe even a little longing. ARMY also agreed that this moment was one of the most sincere in the history of their relationship. It wasn't about rumors, it wasn't about fan service, it was about two people who really understand the meaning of being together, one fan wrote on the forum, towards the end of the interview. Jimin closed with a sentence that has now become a viral quote on all social media platforms. She said quietly, "If one day we can't be together as often as we used to be, I hope he knows that I'm still proud of him. Because for me, he was not just a colleague, but the most honest part of my life." The words seemed to envelop the atmosphere with a beautiful silence, and at the same time, as if confirming something that so far can only be felt, not spoken. That behind all the stage lights, fame, and media spotlight, there are two hearts that understand each other, Jimin and Jungkook, two names that can no longer be separated in a long story called BTS, and maybe, as many armies in the world say, they don't need to explain anything. We all know how they look at each other. Purple Heart after Jimin's confession was widely spread, the army world seemed to stop for a moment. Every video interview, every cut of the clip, even Jungkook's comments on Weverse, was carefully analyzed. Fans began to create emotional timelines, comparing small moments in which the two looked at each other, smiled, or simply touched each other's shoulders. Some of the international fan base even uploaded a collection of gestures and looks from BTS's concerts, variety shows, and documentary videos, trying to find evidence that shows how deep the bond between Jungkook and Jimin is. On social media, the hashtag #JiminConfession continues to top global trends. Fans wrote their reactions with Haru language. One wrote, "I cried because I saw how Jimin puts so much trust and care in Jungkook. Their relationship is more than friendship," and another added, "If this is not love, I do not know what it is." Their feelings are so sincere. This story also sparked a new wave of fanfiction that instantly went viral. The fan writers created a long narrative that interpreted the moment of the interview, imagining what happened before and after Jimin's words. There are stories of Jungkook reading Jimin's text messages before a concert, smiling to himself in the dressing room, or Jimin preparing vocal exercises while thinking about Jungkook. These stories are not just fantasies. For many fans, it was a way to celebrate and honor the emotional closeness they felt between the two idols. On the other hand, experts in media psychology also participated in the analysis of this phenomenon. They highlight how Jimin's emotional confession provides a sense of psychological closeness for fans. When a public figure shares deeply personal feelings, fans feel they have a deeper emotional connection with them, one analyst said. In the case of Jimin and Jungkook, this moment evokes a sense of empathy and warmth, as both show a human side that is rarely seen on stage. The presence of Jungkook responding with a short message on Weverse also adds an interesting emotional layer. Even though it was only 3 sentences, fans felt such strong sincerity and care. The message was considered a form of emotional validation, affirming that their closeness was not just one-sided. Jungkook knew exactly what Jimin was feeling, and he reciprocated with simplicity but great depth, wrote one international fan. In the days that followed, many armies created collaborative projects to honor this moment. There are those who make compilation videos of Jimin and Jungkook's entire journey, from the trainee period to the last concert, highlighting their looks, gestures, and moments of togetherness. Others create digital illustrations depicting Jimin and Jungkook in intimate but simple situations, such as sitting together in a rehearsal room or sharing a laugh backstage. All of these works were widely shared on social media, adding to the warm feel within the fan community.